always try our hardest to bring you the best record attempts from across the globe. I think you'll enjoy this.
Being called a fat pig is a terrible insult to anyone but a fat pig. Meet Wilbur, the world's fattest pig at over half a ton. Boss hog at Merrymead Farms in Lansdale, Pennsylvania.
We never knew he'd get this big. We actually gave him 4 pounds of feed, each feeding. That's a normal ration for a pig.
But Wilbur gets the odd supplement to his diet. The porker that could launch 7,000 bacon sarnies is a big hit with the kids. But his best friend is a chicken called Scooter.
Hey, he's got a couple chickens. They sleep with him at nighttime. I don't know if that keeps them warm or what, but you'll walk by and you'll see these 2 chickens sitting on top of Wilbur.
Wilbur is no athlete. He's about as lazy as pigs get. In fact, he rarely bothers to stand up at all, except to eat.
We always know when Wilbur's ready to eat because everybody comes running over and says, "Wilbur's up! Wilbur's up!"
But most of the time, Wilbur's sleeping like a baby, dreaming of his next big meal.
All of us at some time have dreamt of being able to fly. But the 2 men in our next film made that dream a record-breaking reality by using a remarkable piece of clothing.
Frenchman Patrick de Guidon was a radical and talented skydiver who took free-falling to new heights by inventing sky surfing and aerial ballet. But for Patrick, skydiving wasn't enough, so he invented the wingsuit, a revolutionary jumpsuit with rigid wings, which enabled the skydiver to travel forward at tremendous speeds, covering great distances instead of just dropping like a stone. Patrick decided to put the wingsuit to the ultimate test by jumping out of a plane, free-falling for 2,000 feet and then flying back into the same aircraft while it makes a 45-degree nosedive towards the Earth. Just one slip and Patrick could end up in the propeller blades. He made it to the doorway, but intense winds ripped him away. But he refused to fail, and in the time it took to repack his parachute, Patrick was back in the plane for another attempt. This time he matched the plane's speed perfectly and successfully flew inside. Unfortunately, Patrick de Guidon died as he had lived, flying through the air in an untimely and tragic accident, and his dream of setting a record with his wingsuit would never be fulfilled. Until Adrian Nicholas, a protégé of Patrick, decided to set a new Guinness record by travelling the greatest distance across the ground.
I've nothing to help me. I've got no rocket boosters on my feet.
To record the distance and to meet Guinness requirements, Adrian has a global positioning system, or GPS, built into his suit, showing him and the judges precisely the distance and speed he'll travel. Making use of favourable wind and weather conditions in California, Adrian and his team have decided to ascend to an altitude of 16,000 feet for a record attempt more than 4 miles away from the landing zone. At the last moment, pilot Carl Gullage marks the position on the plane's GPS for backup documentation. Adrian will trigger his GPS as he jumps from the plane. Adrian quickly settles into a position to get maximum speed. The most subtle movements in the wingsuit can give Adrian precise control of his position as he races back towards the airport's landing zone.
You try and create an aerodynamic shape with your torso, and you can feel the speed changing. You can hear the speed changing in your ears.
As he soars through 13,000 and then 9,000 feet, he flies over houses, swimming pools and highways.
Flying down the highways is that's just a treat. You see the cars having, and you're just passing everything, and you can weave and you can move, you can turn right at the stop sign, flying over the houses and stuff, you know, you can see the swimming pools flashing by and you can see all the pylons and the cables and you're really travelling. It's wonderful, completely wonderful.
At altitudes below 5,000 feet, skimming the Earth at 120 miles an hour, Adrian could lose all perspective of his height. He must keep a close eye on his altimeter or risk opening his parachute too low and too late. Finally, after passing the landing zone, Adrian deploys his chute at 3,500 feet. His tremendous speed comes to an abrupt halt, as if he's slammed on the brakes.
That was really, really good.
Adrian's GPS reveals the remarkable distance he has flown, 4.7 miles, a benchmark for freefall sky gliding.
You've seen him in the air, let's meet him on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, Adrian Nicholas. Now, Adrian, that was incredible. How does it feel when you're up there?
Actually, it's too good to be true. The sensation of speed is beyond your wildest imagination. You can move so fast and so far. On a whim of your imagination, you can change direction, barrel roll. It's like aerobatics with your body. If you go fast enough, you can really, really fly.
But just how dangerous is it?
Well, skydiving does have its risks. The first part is always fine. The last bit, you have to be more careful with. This does make life more complicated. The small inconvenience is that whilst this suit works very well in the air, you can't actually reach up and fly your parachute, which can cause a problem. If you have a small malfunction or something like that, you have to get a bit busy and get rid of the wings, but it's more than worth it.
And what about a danger of blacking out?
If you jump at high altitude, the best thing to do is try to remain very calm and think very slowly. So what we do instead is to put a silly suit on and exert yourself enormously. The sensation, I suppose, is a bit like if you had two tables and you try and support yourself between the two. So the physical exertion is much higher than it would be for a normal skydive.
So since that record attempt, I think you've broken another record, maybe even two.
In 1960, a guy called Joe Kittinger jumped from 102,000 feet, the edge of space, in a spacesuit. He just left the gondola and trusted that his parachute equipment would open automatically. And I've always wanted to go for his record. He made a free fall of 4 minutes and 36 seconds. I can't get to space. I've always had this problem trying to get to space. So we thought maybe if we can fly, we can have a crack at his record. And we managed to make a flight of 4 minutes and 55 seconds.
Wow.
From a third of the altitude by flying very fast forwards to create lift to keep me in the air much longer, and the distance travelled was just over 10 miles.
Incredible.
This is all not so much about me, it's about a very remarkable man. Patrick de Gaidon invented this wing suit, and it's thanks to his invention that I get a chance to go and play.
So where do you go from here? What's next?
We have a million things to go and do. The suit and human flight is still in its infancy, and there's so many things to go and do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the magnificent man who's a flying machine, Adrian Nicholas.
Adrian, fantastic.
Thanks, Ian.
We've got to fly ourselves now. But thanks for joining us, and make a date again with us next week when we'll have more incredible people attempting incredible records. Until then, good night.
Next week on Guinness World Records.